Yo people, welcome back to another video. Now this time it's my crown jewel PLE predictions. Apologies if I sound a bit off, I do have a cold. But anyways, as of right now, this match card involves 5 matches. I know they like to do the thing where they add another match based off of SmackDown. But anyways, let's go with what we have. And let's start with John Cena versus AJ Styles. As we got told by AJ Styles last night, in a line that kind of sounded as if Triple H wrote it himself, this match writes itself. So there's no need for storylines or anything like that, as Triple H once again exposes himself for not being able to find creativity in this feud and exposing himself for really not being the person behind this match. It really was John Cena that pushed for this match by the looks of it, and we keep getting more evidence. And if this wasn't the case, like I said, Triple H would have found a way to build up this feud. I know Cena isn't available, but there's a whole creative team, and you're telling me you can't do any build up? Okay then. So yeah, they just really said, look, these two guys have history. That's the story. They already did it with Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. No one cared. No one wanted that. And anyways, after John Cena lost to Brock Lesnar for no reason, I assume that John Cena has to win this match. And it's a shame because as much as everyone is on this John Cena farewell hype, Cena over everyone mentality, Cena has to win everything, AJ Styles is also in his last run and his booking has been nothing short of a disgrace this year as well. He lost to Logan Paul at WrestleMania. He lost 3 times to Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental title, and he wasn't doing anything else throughout the year, to be honest. Now, honestly, I'm happy with whoever wins this match. Both of them have been booked like absolute garbage, and that's the highlighted factor that should be spoken about more, as we see both of these legends go into their last run. And overall, I think Cena has to win this match. Hopefully there's no interferences either or any stupidity involving Brock Lesnar or anything. We can just get a good, clean match, last match between these two, and it is what it is for the results. I think John Cena wins this. Let's move on to the forced match, which is Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns in an Australian street fight. What makes it Australian? Don't know. Will there be kangaroos? Don't know. Absolute no need for this match. We already saw this at Clash in Paris. Roman won. Triple H keeps thinking that he's cooking up. He's doing well elevating Braun and Bronson, when in reality he hasn't. It's been trash. And this is no disrespect to Braun and Bronson. They've done what they can, but the booking is atrocious. And ultimately no one cares about this feud. People only care about this match because Roman Reigns is there, the last real superstar that WWE has at the moment. And not enough people are questioning this OTC arc that Roman Reigns has had. He's been bitched around ever since he's done this OTC arc, and since he lost his titles, it's been an absolute embarrassment. It feels like it's direct sabotage from Triple H. Roman Reigns went from ruining everyone, beating everyone in the whole roster for 4 years, to feuding back to back with Bronson Reed for oxygen. It doesn't feel like a blood feud either, so don't even try that. There's no titles on the line. We already did the whole Roman time period where he isn't fighting for the titles. He didn't even get his rematch for the titles he lost. And now more than ever, Roman Reigns should be fighting for the titles. Roman Reigns being champion is best for business, especially with all these record low views and all these stats coming out from ESPN, from Netflix, where they're basically saying the product is mid and it's declining. By the way, we're talking about Roman Reigns, someone who is on limited time because of his part-time schedule, and he's someone else that might leave within the next 2 to 3 years, and we're wasting his time doing feuds with Bronson Reed. I'd understand if Bronson Reed had insane heat and he was actually doing stuff, but the way he gets booked is awful and there's no momentum. We already saw Bronson Reed lose to Roman Reigns at Clash in Paris, so what is the point of this? And on top of that, we already saw Roman Reigns beat Bronson Reed at SummerSlam. It was a tag team match, yes, I understand, but again, whether it's singles, whether it's tag teams, Roman Reigns has won both, so what is the point? I would have understood this if they did Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker in a street fight. That's something fresh, unique, but that makes too much sense. And also Bronson's only in the card because he's Australian and the whole show takes place in Australia, obviously. Unfortunately, because Roman Reigns has beaten Bronson already, I do think Bronson will win this match. However, there is only one way in which I will allow this to happen. I do think they will do it, but it just doesn't make sense in terms of the power rankings. That's my main issue. So the way that I will allow this to happen is Braun Breaker will obviously come out, Jey Uso will obviously come out, Jimmy will be the one that kind of causes the loss for Roman Reigns, and it will happen one of 2 ways. And remember last night on Monday Night Raw, Roman told Jimmy that sometimes the best way to help Jey is by getting out of his way. which means Jimmy will either not show up and then he'll get blamed by Jay and everyone for not coming out and helping, or the likelier of the two, which is the one that I think will happen, which is that Jimmy will accidentally super kick Roman and then him and Jay get taken out. Bronson wins the match, which will create tension amongst the OG bloodline going into Survivor Series. Next up is Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus the Kabuki Warriors, and I don't know about everyone else, but I've not really cared about this at all. I've not felt the hype. The acting has been kind of over dramatic and I don't really like it. It just feels like it's another filler feud for Rhea Ripley so she can go on to challenge later on for the World Heavyweight title, and Triple H can just say, well, we're not forcing Rhea Ripley because she's been in other matches in other feuds that don't involve the title, and I expect Rhea Ripley and Io Sky to win this unless we somehow get an Io Sky heel turn. Let's move on to Stephanie Vaquer versus Tiffany Stratton, and this has to be a Stephanie win. Tiffany Stratton is insanely overrated in my opinion. She obviously can still build on and become much greater, she's still young, but as of right now, insanely overrated. Somehow she's undefeated in 2025. People talk about Rhea Ripley being overpushed, overprotected by Triple H, and no one talks about Tiffany Stratton. Anyways, I think it would be a great feat if Stephanie Vaquer ends Tiffany Stratton's undefeated streak, and it adds to her momentum on the main roster. It builds her up nicely as the World Heavyweight Champion, and it gives her more rhythm going forwards. She's the better wrestler, she's more over than Tiffany. Every metric favors Stephanie, so anything other than a Stephanie win is trash booking unless there's an interference, which I doubt will happen. Last but not least, the main event, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. They had a nice recorded promo last night, if I'm being honest, and I just wish they could raise all these points during a face-to-face promo where they have to improvise, think on the fly, and all of that stuff. They made good points last night, but it was all recorded. It almost felt like, oh, we missed this stuff out in the actual promos. Let's do this other promo so that we can build this up and make this look better, cover our grounds, make sure there's no plot holes. Fair enough, they still got there, but I just wish these key points would be raised in actual promos. As for this match, it has to be Seth Rollins winning, and I think it will happen. However, I don't think it will be a clean win, even though that's what Seth Rollins wants. He wants it to stay 1v1. He wants that clean win. I think Paul Heyman will have a trick up his sleeve that Seth doesn't approve of, and ultimately it gives Seth the win. He won't be happy, but at least he wins. Maybe it's a new member for the division or something that will really make Seth angry because he didn't approve of the plan and what takes place. It will make it look like he isn't calling the shots in the group as they build more tension between Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. But I refuse to believe that this feud between Cody and Seth turns into a 4-0 advantage to Cody Rhodes. And if that happens, Seth loses all respect, all the hype he's been building for himself as the guy that is apparently carrying Raw and as the leader of the division, as Paul Heyman quite rightly pointed out last night on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, I do think this is a pretty straightforward outcome in terms of all the matches. Hopefully the wrestling actually lives up to the hype, because on paper these matches are pretty good. It's actually a lot better than stuff like Clash in Paris and other pay-per-views that we've been dragged through the absolute mud and trenches this year. But yeah, as always, feel free to let me know your predictions. Let me know what other content you'd like to see on the channel as well. Don't forget to hit the like button, sub to the channel, and thank you for your time.